here are 3 batch cocktails created by Jamie Oliver, and I have no idea what they are. That's because today's episode is a surprise.
A birthday surprise with a little challenge for Kevin to recreate or improve Jamie's cocktails with his own single-serve specs.
Robi and I share a birthday, 19th of November. So every year we make a birthday episode where Robi steps in front of the camera as well, and we come up with something fun for this special occasion.
My gift to you this year is that you don't have to come up with a theme for today's episode. Kevin will be tasting and reviewing these 3 batched cocktails without knowing the recipes. The coffee Negroni, a filthy vodka martini, and a maple old fashioned, all made by Jamie Oliver. Well, these were made by me, but I follow Jamie's recipes.
So I'll be reviewing both of you in a way.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sounds good.
I'll show you the book at the end of the episode, but everyone else will get to see how I made these cocktails first. And just to make it clear, this episode is in no way sponsored by Jamie Oliver or any of the publishers. But if they'd like to collaborate,
yep, we're here. Now it's birthday cocktail time.
Kevin's not in the studio for this part, so I'll try to make it short. Also, I'm the clumsy guy on set, so bear with me as we batch these cocktails. I'll follow the recipe from Jamie Oliver's Together, which gives you great tips for preparing meals and drinks for family and friends. The cocktail section also includes recipes for a royal mojito, a bramble, an orange chocolate espresso martini, and a few others, most of them with instructions on how to make them in advance. But let's start with making the coffee Negroni. For Jamie's twist on this Italian classic, we'll of course need gin, Campari, and sweet vermouth. But Jamie's recipe also includes a little bit of limoncello and fresh, coarsely ground coffee. As per the recipe, I'll mix equal parts of the classic 3 ingredients. Starting with 150 ml of gin. I'm using gin raw. Next, 150 ml of sweet vermouth. Nuovo di Dante Inferno will pair nicely with coffee and will add its ruby red color. And the same amount of the famous bitter from Milan, Campari. Lastly, 1 teaspoon of limoncello. I could use Kevin's super limoncello, made from super juice leftovers, but I think Jamie had the classic in mind. These amounts are supposed to make 6 cocktails, according to the book. Once mixed, I'll put a rinsed coffee filter into a Chemex, or use a funnel right over a bottle, and add 50 grams of fresh, coarsely ground coffee. Then, to quote the book, pour the booze mixture over the coffee and through the filter. It says this could take up to 1 hour, but I guess it will depend on your coffee and the filter. Mine was done in under 10 minutes. Once you have the coffee strained Negroni bottled, keep it in the freezer until needed. So we move on to cocktail number 2. For the filthy vodka martini, you'll need vodka, dry vermouth, and olive brine. This recipe makes 6 servings as well. I'm using Absolute and Nuovo di Dante Purgatorio for our boozy components. This one is super simple to make. Start with 360 ml of vodka. And yes, you can go with gin too, but we're following the recipe. Then add equal parts, 120 ml each of dry white vermouth and green olive jar brine, both as written in the book. I'd say with so much brine, even Kevin would skip the saline solution, but we'll see what he says. Mix together, then bottle and keep in the freezer until needed. On to cocktail number 3, Jamie's Maple Old Fashioned. This is recommended to serve with his steak night recipes and make 6 servings. I don't have a steak, but I'll be using Maker's Mark bourbon, maple syrup, Angostura bitters, and, for an Oliver twist, a rooibos tea bag. Following the recipe, I'm adding our ingredients into a cocktail shaker, starting with 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, which equals 1 ounce or 30 ml. For the base, I'm adding 10 ounces or 300 ml of bourbon. To see Kevin's recipes for batched cocktails, including a classic old-fashioned, check out the cocktail calculators on kevincos.com. Next, add 1 teaspoon of Angostura bitters, and make sure to clean up any mess, as Angostura will stain anything it touches. The directions then say to give it a good shake and bottle, but don't mention any ice. And since Jamie says to then just pour it over ice in a tumbler or even into a coupe or a martini glass, I'm guessing this needs to be pre-diluted. So I'll add a few ice cubes and give it a quick shake. Luckily, I have a large cocktail shaker. In a pinch, just split it into 2 parts. I'll then strain it into a jar and again, following the recipe, add 1 rooibos tea bag to infuse. Place it in the freezer until needed. We'll see how this one works out. One batched cocktail that's also in Jamie's book is this elegant-ish pina colada. But since it's one of Sasha's favorite cocktails, I was glad to let him make this one, for both Kevin and myself. The bonus episode on how he made it and what Kevin and I think of it is live on our Patreon now. All the bottles are going into the freezer until Kevin gets back. Then it's time to give them a try.
And that time is now.
Martini and old-fashioned cocktails actually both froze solid, so I placed them in the fridge a few hours ago, so we're ready to go. Once Kevin makes them, he'll try to figure out what makes them different from the classics, and then give us a single-serve recipe on how to make them. You ready?
Let's do it.
Kevin still doesn't know exactly what he's serving, but he's starting with the Negroni. Simply pour over ice in a tumbler. I just realized I didn't add any dilution, so maybe give it a quick stir while you're at it. Then Jamie says, if you wish, you can garnish the cocktail with an orange slice or a strip of peel. Yeah, go for the peel. Use a spit peeler and gently twist before adding. Next up, Martini. Simply pour into a chilled coupe or coupe glass, no ice. Interestingly, Jamie doesn't mention a martini glass here. Anyway, place a green olive at the bottom of the glass. And lastly, the Old Fashioned. This one is pre-diluted, so just remove and discard the tea bag, then pour over ice in a tumbler, coupe or martini glass. Jamie used a tumbler glass with clear ice. Garnish with a strip of orange or clementine peel. Again, use a spit peeler, gently twisting before serving. That couldn't be easier to serve. From Jamie and myself. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you. From the appearance and the aroma, I could tell this was a Negroni, with some coffee notes to it. That's actually a bit stronger than I preferred, so I tried to balance that for a single serve. Next, the garnish and again the smell give it away. I'll say a dirty martini. The salinity overpowers the other ingredients, so there's no botanicals to be found. I'll probably tone that down a bit. Here, I first thought it might be a Manhattan, but with an orange peel it's probably an old-fashioned. And the tea bag gave away a lot of the tasting notes, but this still has plenty of richness and an interesting sweetness. I'll see what I can do. So I tried this again and wrote down a few notes. So, can you now tell me what these were?
So, they were a Negroni filtered through a bed of coffee,
Okay.
a filthy vodka martini, and Jamie's maple old fashioned.
Oh, it was maple syrup. That's interesting. Rooibos was really strong though. For a batch coffee Negroni, I suggest making a light cold brew coffee and adding an equal part as the other three ingredients to the cocktail, for dilution and flavor. For the filthy vodka martini, all I can say is I think I'd prefer it less filthy, but that's just me. For the old fashioned, I'll measure out the dilution I want, around 30% of the total amount of other ingredients, and add pre-made rooibos tea, then skip the tea bag and chunk it in the freezer. This was a fun exercise of reverse engineering, so now I'll make them as I'd serve them to a guest at a bar. I actually really like the idea of pouring a Negroni through a bed of coffee, but the simplest way to get hints of coffee into a cocktail is to add 2 bar spoons of coffee beans into a mixing glass as you're making the cocktail. For a coffee version of a regal stir, you could also infuse gin or Campari with coffee beans for a few hours, but here I'm making just a single serve, so a handful of coffee beans followed by equal parts of gin, Campari and sweet vermouth and 2 drops of saline solution to enhance the flavors. Will do the trick. Stir over ice and strain into a chill lowball glass over a clear ice cube. Garnish with an orange peel and you'll have a quick and simple coffee Negroni. Cheers! Next up, I'd kindly suggest a dirty vodka martini. Start with a chilled mixing glass and add 1.5 ounce or 45 ml of quality vodka. Next, half an ounce or 15 ml of dry vermouth. And this won't make it filthy, but just dirty enough. Add a bar spoon of olive brine. No saline solution here, for obvious reasons.
Hold it!
Mix with ice, then strain it into a chilled Nicanora glass. And add a skewered olive. Cheers and enjoy. And lastly, the maple old fashioned. With rooibos tea, I'd rather add this with a rapid infusion technique, or as tea ice cubes for dilution. But let's say I didn't have time to prep for that. So I'm just adding 1 bar spoon of rooibos tea into the mixing glass and hope for the best. The base will be 2 ounces or 60 ml of bourbon. But you can go with rye as well. As the name suggests, we're using maple syrup for sweetener. 1 bar spoon will be enough. And for bitters, I'll add a bit of festive mix of my winter spice bitters and Angostura bitters. I'm adding 3 dashes from this dasher bottle and then 1 dash of winter spice bitters with notes of cinnamon, clove, allspice and more. Check out the episode with these festive bitters for the recipe. Then it's similar to the Negroni. Stir with ice, but then double strain over a clear ice cube to catch all the bits of rooibos tea. Express an orange peel over the top and that's it. A festive maple old fashioned. Cheers guys, thanks for a great episode.
Cheers.
Cheers. With that, we've reached the bottom of the glass.
Post a birthday cake or a gift emoji to let us know you've made it all the way here. And today, instead of a fun fact, it's time to reveal to Kevin what book these cocktails came from. Sasha?
Oh,
This is a birthday surprise for you as well.
amazing.
Happy
Thank you so
birthday,
much. Awesome. Thank you. And also, since Robi has a birthday as well, on the same day, and I came from Athens, as you know, and also told me that you love mastica.
Yeah.
Mastica.
Yeah?
This one is mastica, but it is without sugar, so you can mix it even better in cocktails.
Mastica spirit.
Cheers.
I know you like to cook and your goal is to spend more time with your family and close friends. So this book will be perfect for those special moments together. And we look forward to trying some of those dishes too, just so you know.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Me too.
And just before we started shooting, we got another thing to celebrate. A new member of the Cocktail Time Wall of Fame. Jan Verdier became our top tier patron, so he'll now have his very own brick in the Cocktail Time clock. Thank you for the support and welcome to our set, Jan. Well, 1 year older and even more grateful for all of you who are in my corner.
Thank you for being the best friends of cocktails anyone could ever wish for.
Until next time, cheers!